As you know, Halo Infinite was released early last month to many players' surprise.
A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
What they got to play was a solid multiplayer experience with barely any bugs, servers that weren't rented for 2 cents, and a return to Halo's roots, basically modernizing the classic gameplay of Halo 3 and its iconic trilogy. Halo Infinite's multiplayer release is a breath of fresh air in the current climate of games today, as many launches buggy broken messes that underdeliver in even the most basic ways. Infinite is a step in the right direction and should be looked at least as a baseline on how games today should be released. Infinite is definitely a highlight of this year, but it is by no means perfect, as no game can truly be. But it can be better. Now, Infinite's a really fun game to play no matter what you're playing, be that the constant struggle of Oddball or the utter chaos of Big Team Battle CTF. It's a joy to play. Picking up a Grav Hammer or Plasma Sword for the first time and eviscerating anyone dumb enough to get in close is a fond memory. Or, if you prefer the bigger guns and opt for a Spanker, to blow anyone or anything away. Or, if you have the skill, you can also do things like this,
Hostile command.
You'll be to make this look easy.
or this.
People are starting to talk.
These are a few of many memories that I have created with this game, and I hope to make more in the future. But, as I said earlier, this game is not perfect, as every hill has a valley. Some of these things being that Forge is not included on launch, nor is co-op. Theater is a buggy mess and hard to use, and custom games as well as customization is lacking in multiplayer. Theater, co-op, Forge, and custom games can be fixed relatively easily whenever 343 adds them to the game, or fixes them, but I want to talk about the bigger issue of customization in multiplayer. As it stands now, without the Battle Pass, you only get a handful of cosmetics. You get a helmet, some pieces of armor, a few visor colors, and challenge skips and some color packs. The good stuff comes from the Battle Pass, which you have to buy. Some other creators have suggested that a traditional leveling system should be introduced, and have all Mark 6 armor be unlocked through that, meaning all the helmets, shoulder pieces, knee pieces, and everything else related to Mark 6. And I agree, as it's the base armor that you start with in Infinite. Now you might say, oh, the multiplayer is free to play, how will the devs make their cash? Well, apart from the Battle Pass existing, here are a couple ways that I think 343 could compromise with the community and still make money. To start off, the Battle Pass should always have some worthwhile armor pieces and reduce some of the bloat in the Battle Pass, as in some parts you will have 2 pieces of the same armor separated by a tier. It'd be nice to unlock the left and right shoulder pads or knee pads at the same time. Second, do away with this awful color system that's limited between armor cores, because it's terrible, and replace it with a color palette system. If you ever played Warframe, you know what I'm talking about, and if you haven't, let me explain. Warframe has a color palette system when it comes to color customization, allowing you to pick what and where the colors that you want to go on your Warframe. If a similar system were implemented in Infinite, it would be leagues ahead better of what we have now, and would be a step up in customization. As in Warframe, if you want an all-red Warframe, can be done. An all-yellow one, done. Maybe you want a specific color combo, say black with red accents, done. Adding this level of player choice when it comes to customization would make this game amazing. Just imagine what our Spartans could look like. But hold on, you might say, if you make it that the colors are bought from a color palette, wouldn't it be a one-time purchase and then you could just have all the colors? Well, that would be nice. Warframe has the answer for that too. If you were paying attention, then you might have seen that the color palettes only have a limited number of colors per palette. Some basic and some that are specific, so it can cater to everyone. Like if you like red, but you know this specific type of red, then you can go ahead and buy the palette that has all those shades of red. And if you want to go even further, have different color palettes that of different materials, like a matte palette or a glossy palette. You know, it would be nice to have maybe matte black section of your armor with like a glossy black. It would look nice. Now, this is a compromise, as I, as well as all of you, would like this to be just part of the base game, but the devs gotta make cash somehow. But just because we're compromising doesn't mean we can't bargain. Now, if this were added, then the palette should be priced decently. Sad that I even have to say this, but I'd say maybe around $5 a palette. And if they were ever to add the palette system, you should start with at least a basic color palette, like the classic one in Warframe. And if they ever do add a traditional leveling system, you should be able to get another palette of your choosing for free as a high-level rank-up reward. Palettes also must be universal with any and all armor cores and pieces of equipment. This is how I believe color customization should be handled in Infinite, as I think this is a better system overall. As a side note, it would be cool if custom emblems could be a thing in Infinite, but I understand why they don't do it. Because if it were ever implemented, it would take the community about less than an hour to have massive wangs as their emblem.
I'm in pain is Cupcake.
Just to see it on the side of a warthog and laugh about it. And I don't think 343 really wants to deal with that. But anyway, these are my thoughts on how Infinite's player customization should be handled. And if you enjoyed or found it interesting, share this to a friend and see what they think. But that's all I have for you today. Hit the sub button and like the video if you enjoyed, as it would help me bring more videos to you. But as always, have a wonderful morning, noon, or night, and see you out there, Spartan.
Pain is weakness, eating up, eating up. Pain is weakness, eating up, eating up. Pain is weakness, eating up.